Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching. And today we're going to be going over Positional Playbook, adapting to each partner. So there's going to be two ways that we can do this. Sometimes I'm working on a specific problem, and maybe I'm doing mounted arm bars. This is what I've been doing for the last couple of months. I'm going to do that to every person possible. I want to collect all the data possible. I want to do this on big people, small people, really strong people, lanky people, people of varying ages, varying skill levels. And I want to collect as much data as possible. The goal being, it's like being a scientist and you're trying to see if this vaccine or this medicine or this procedure works on however many people. And the process behind that is I have to just do it to every type of training partner I can encounter. I want to do it to the competitor, the hobbyist, the short, the tall, the lanky, the weight, the heavy, the super strong. I want any and everyone is going to get it. That's one approach when I'm building a skill set. And when I'm building that skill set, I am not prejudiced on who I do the technique to. Now, when I'm rolling with someone and this is a competitive round, I can't take that same approach and think that I'm going to be successful. I have to approach each round differently based on the skill sets of my opponent. So there's times when, for example, I have a purple belt who, when I'm in top half, my goal is often to grab the bottom collar, right around the shoulder, sometimes the back of the head, to prevent him from pushing his head away, and I can pull him in closer and anchor to him. He has a style or an arm bar that he likes to hit from there that I absolutely hate. He's gotten me once or twice with it, or at least threatened me enough with it that I pull my arm back. I had to adapt to the fact that he had that skill set, and I started grabbing the top collar instead of the bottom collar. Bottom collar is a far better option, but against him, not a great spot. So I started grabbing the top and then changing, and that changed the dynamic of what he did next. We have to understand that, yes, we have a game. We have an approach. We have a system that we want to do. It's our A game. It's a thing that we do really, really well. It's a thing that we have a lot of confidence in. It's a thing that we understand better than anything else. And when I'm building a deep skill set, I'm going to follow A game to a T. When I'm fighting competitively, there's going to be moments where I have to decide whether my A game is adapted to that opponent. I can't do the same thing to everyone when it's a competitive round because I'm going to lose. Maybe they are great from guard. Maybe they're better at a specific guard than I am. So I may need to avoid that guard completely. I might have blind spots or predictable habits. Strategy needs to shift according to the body type, the energy, the pace, and even the mindset. And my goal isn't to dominate everyone with my A game. It's to have an A game and then be adaptive. Having the ability to switch some things. It doesn't have to be completely different, but just, okay, I don't want to go to this guard. Like, I had a training partner who was great at worm guard. My job from the onset was not to play that guard. Onset, it was to prevent this person from grabbing any of my lapels. I am absolutely not. The other tactic was I need to pressure the fuck out of this person. I can't let them get lapel guard, then create distance so they can start to wrap. So then I started creating more pressure. There's certain people that I like playing a certain guard with. I can't do that with everyone. There's a gentleman, I'll call him the Viking. He is trying out the gym. I know him through a couple of workshops. Lovely family, kind people, great people. I'm hoping he sticks it out. And by stick it out, I mean I hope he stays with our gym and signs up. I love rolling with him. He is large, wide, big hands, super strong. He gives me a different element that I'm used to because I don't have people that body type. So when I go in and say, I want to play half, half is good. It's a decent guard, regardless of the size of someone. I play well from there. But sometimes, because it's half, and if he gets a certain angle or a certain pressure, he blows past that half, and then I'm in a bad position if I can't get my guard reinstituted before he gets to like side or something. That's a different element that I am experiencing now that I didn't get to experience before. Yes, I roll with bigger people. He's a different breed of bigger people, and I have to adjust to what I do with him. There was another gentleman, a black belt, similar body type, sort of, maybe a little smaller or thinner, but super, super, super strong. I realized that I couldn't play certain games with him. I couldn't play bottom at all. And I have a good guard. But I realized that when I have matches with him, if I play guard because of his size and strength, he kind of starts to crush my guard. And I get into really bad positions, and he likes to stall a little bit, and he holds and he cooks, holds and he cooks. And then I get frustrated because he's not doing anything. And then finally he does something. With him, I understood, oh, I need to play top the whole time. So I refused to go to the back. I refused to let my back touch the ground. And it changed the outcome of the match that we had. I dominated the match differently. I dominated from top position. I cooked him. I made sure he had to work. But when I made a mistake from top and he somehow reversed the position, I was in a world of problems. Those are the things that we have to start to think about when we are trying to create a game that's more adaptive. Because this process is not a one-way conversation. It's a rolling dialogue. It's a back and forth. It's a physical debate. And as it's a physical debate, sometimes they cut you off. Sometimes they chime in before you're ready and you haven't finished your thought. And sometimes they pin you, just like with a debate, they pin you in a territory or topic that you're not as informed in. So you have to adapt. There's certain positions that when I'm in a competitive round, I'm not going to. I had a guy who, Mike, he loves north-south. Arguably one of the best north-souths that I've been around in recent years. When he got there, it took me forever to get out. So I had to understand that when I would do certain rounds where I was like, this man is not getting north-south. This man is playing off his back today. And we would start the round and everything looked normal. And then I would respond with my guard a certain way. And my job was just to put him on his butt. Once I put him on his butt, I got up and I made him play guard, which isn't as strong as his north-south. So strategically, I've started to understand the positions that people are really good in, what they don't do well in, and what's secondary to them. Because we're going to have that A game, we're going to have that B game, and then maybe even a C. And we have to understand that what their strengths are in games, the positions they love to be in. If they are one of those people who has a great, strong grip, you're going to have to understand that you have to grip fight and hand fight more than you would anyone else. If they're someone who loves pressure, you're going to have to work a guard that alleviates that pressure and gets them on their butt. If they're someone who loves to play guard, how I pass the guard is going to matter because once I get to a certain position, I can never let them regard. So there's these games where we know that people are really good at, and there's areas that we know they're not. The same is said for you, though. You have to understand where you're good and where you're not, and be strategic about that as well. Because if I know I'm not great at getting out of north-south, when I'm building up a skill, I can let them get there and work out and get some habits and build that skill set. But when it's a competitive round, I can't let them get anywhere near there. I have to fight that off at all costs. It's just like a military you have certain militaries that are great at hand-to-hand. You have certain militaries that are great at distance. You have certain militaries that are great in forests or urban settings, you have to understand what setting is best for you, adapt it to that, which settings are not great for your opponent, and then adapt to that. Some of the strategic layers to consider, though, are physical factors. Are they stronger, faster partners? Then your job is to focus more on angles and distance management and efficiency. There's people that I'll roll with where I know their cardio is trash. So I cook them. I take my time. I'll start to pass. I'll let them regain the guard and start to pass all over again. And I'll do that 3-4 times. And again, I understand I could have passed a long time ago. But the strategy was, I want him to get tired. I want him to think that he has hope and then crush that hope mentally and physically. If you have a larger partner, use mobility, transitions, fatigue as a leverage. I have partners that are larger and their cardio isn't quite good, but they're great from top. So I make them work bottom intentionally with sweeps, or maybe I start from a position right off the bat where I get the top position. And then I just use more motion, more movement. With a smaller or someone similar in size, I can use heavy pressure. With someone larger, sometimes they're strong enough to push you off, or their bodies can roll you. So you have to be more movement-based. And you have to understand when you're about to lose the position because of the strength factor in their category or their court. And you're going to have to shift. And you might want mount, but they're pressing you off and you can't quite chase the armbar. You're going to have to maybe go to S mount, or you're going to have to go to knee on belly, or you're going to have to rotate over to north-south and back and forth. And going back and forth and making them work uses their cardio against them, and you get to fatigue them a little bit. And once you get them on their back and they're heaving and you got it. Now you can start applying more pressure. You can be heavier. You can be more of what you want to be. But sometimes you're going to have to shift and move, create space, make them work, angles. If the person's smaller, faster, your job is going to be to have to control that tempo. You're going to have to slow things down. Like a half guard is great for that. A reverse half is great for that. Spider guard is great for that. Worm and lapel guard. That way, there's always a point of contact. They are not able to disengage, because once they disengage, their speed becomes such a factor. You can't sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to always match him step for step. One, he's moving first. And two, he's fast. He or she. And before you know it, they feint. You go for the feint and they're around you, and now they're on your back or they're in side control. So there's things to consider when it comes to physical. Technical factors, I would say, against guard players, work your posture. Hand positioning, not just passing. There's a lot of more that goes into passing. Against wrestlers who like to do a lot of downward pressure because they want to pin you, your job is to use more frames. Movement, counter some of that leverage with sharp changes in the way they're driving force into you. Against pressure-based, I like to use things like a really sturdy guard and underhooks. If someone is really pressure-based, sometimes getting that underhook alleviates and you can misdirect the pressure. So these are little hints and tricks that you're going to have to come up with for every type of player, but it comes with time. Don't punish yourself for not understanding it. But I do, even if you're a new white belt, I do want you or people to understand and start to pay attention to how can I address some of the things that I'm coming across? How can I take something away from them that they really want? Just pick one thing. If you know they have great pressure, when it started the round, I'm going to determine I'm going to be on top. I'm going to make them work. If they are fast, I'm going to give it a grip immediately. Something on the collar, something on the pants, sleeve, something. And just make that your goal. You understand they're faster than you. But in order to really benefit from that speed, sometimes they need freedom of motion, and getting a good grip kind of prevents some of that. If you have any questions on this or anything else, hit me up, dfm.2099 on Instagram and Threads. I also have a free school program, DFM Coaching BJJ. You can look me up on school or through the show notes. any questions, please hit me up. Until next time, thank you so much.